Okay, so let's talk about how mornings are changing for a lot of us. Have you noticed your first hour of the day feels longer now? It's not like you're rushing any less, but time just seems to stretch out a bit. You wake up, maybe put the kettle on, or sit by the window with your coffee or tea. Before, that was just a quick stop before diving into work or chores. But now, it's like that quick stop has turned into a whole field of chill. Your tea steams a little longer, and you just sit there, and bam, 40 minutes are gone, and you were just being there. A lot of us brush this off or even feel bad about it. We call it dawdling or wasting time, like we're failing some productivity test we didn't even know we were still taking. It's easy to say, oh, I just have less to do, or I don't have to be anywhere at 8 a.m., so I'm just being lazy. We look at the clock and feel a little twinge because our mornings used to be a mad dash. Here's the thing, many of us don't talk about it. In a world that loves speed, slowing down can feel like losing your edge. We think if we say it takes us ages to eat toast, or that we watch the light move across the wall for 10 minutes, people will think we're losing it. But maybe it is not that. Maybe this isn't about being slow. Maybe it's about finally enjoying a bit of quiet. Maybe our mornings aren't just a springboard into the day, but a space to be in, not a task to finish. Think about why this is happening. Maybe it's not just about free time, but about needing some calm. After years of rushing, your body and mind might value the shift from sleep to being awake. It could be your mind taking its time to come together. When you stop thinking this time is lost, you might see it as a way to get yourself ready for the day. It's a calm, steady way to start, and it doesn't need to produce something useful to be worth it. Now, whether this longer morning is here to stay or just a passing thing, don't worry about figuring that out right now. Just see it as a change in the way your day is set up. You might notice how heavy your mug is, or how the dust dances in the sunlight. These little things become way more obvious than your to-do list. Just notice it. Think of your morning not as a delay, but as a different way of just being. Hold on to that thought, or let it go as the day goes on. Either way, how you spend that first hour is just part of your life unfolding. Okay, so as that first hour ticks by after you wake up and the sunlight starts peeking into your room, you might notice something interesting. It's not just that you're moving at a different speed than usual, but also how you're going from one thing to the next. There's this feeling that the way you do things matters more than it used to. Like, you might get super particular about your morning routine. Maybe you absolutely have to open the curtains before you even think about filling the kettle, or the cat gets fed before the radio even comes on. Before, these things were just habits, stuff you did without thinking while your brain was already at work. But now, if someone messes with that order, say the phone rings or a neighbour pops over, your whole morning can feel off, like someone's moved a key piece out of place. A lot of times, it feels like we're becoming more stuck in our ways, and we laugh it off. Oh, I'm just getting old, we might say, or joke about turning into a creature of habit. It's like we're building a tiny cage for ourselves with these little daily chores. People usually see this need for order as a sign that we're not as flexible as we used to be, or that we're just being difficult. And because it doesn't seem like a big deal compared to everything else in life, we usually don't even mention it to anyone. We keep our little routines to ourselves. maybe even feeling a little silly if someone notices how much we like things done a certain way. But think about it this way. Maybe it's not about losing flexibility, but about creating a ritual. A habit is something you do without even thinking, but a ritual is something you do to get yourself centered and ready. That specific order you follow, it's like a quiet anchor for your day. It gives you a reliable structure when everything else feels a bit crazy. By doing things in a certain way, you're not just getting things done, you're telling your body and mind that the day is starting on solid ground. It's like creating a little sense of home in that first hour after you wake up, a personal space that supports you before you go out into the world. It's worth thinking about this. Maybe wanting things done in a certain order isn't about being controlling, but about appreciating the transition from sleep to being awake. You don't want to just drift into the day. You want to build it, step by step, in a way that feels right to you. And when you stop thinking of it as being difficult, you might find that it's a pretty good way to manage your focus. It's a slow, careful way of getting your thoughts together. You don't have to decide whether you should fight it or just go with it. It's just a change in how you start your day. Whether this specific order of things stays important to you, or you eventually go back to being more spontaneous, don't worry about it too much right now. It's just a little thing in your morning routine. Something to notice when you go for the kettle or look out the window. Just think about it and remember that your morning routine is yours and yours alone. Maybe it'll help you the next time you feel that little pull towards your usual routine. Or maybe you'll just let the thought go as the day unfolds. It's just there, a quiet foundation that you've built for yourself for as long as you need it. Okay, so there's this thing that happens in the morning, this little change a lot of us go through as we're sipping our tea and getting into our routines. Remember when the first thing we did was flip on the radio or TV? It was like plugging straight into the world's heartbeat, getting the news, knowing what was going on everywhere while the day was still fresh. Staying informed felt kind of mandatory right from the moment we opened our eyes. These days, though, have you noticed the hesitation? Like there's this invisible line you're not so quick to cross anymore. You might reach for the remote or your phone, then just stop, realizing that the quiet in the room is actually pretty good. Maybe even better than all the info waiting for you online or on TV. It's almost like the world turned up the volume and it's gotten a bit much. Some people I know wait till lunchtime or even the afternoon before they check the news. You could say we're losing interest or becoming out of touch, like we don't care anymore. And hey, it's easy to think we're just more sensitive to noise or that we've heard it all before. Since staying in the know is often tied to this idea of being a good, active citizen, we don't usually talk about delaying it. We might worry it looks like we've stopped caring, so we keep this peaceful morning to ourselves. But here's the thing, it's not usually about not caring about the world. Instead, it's like we're protecting our peace of mind. It's as if we can only handle so much early in the day. Mornings seem like this delicate time when we're still getting our thoughts together, finding our centre. Letting in all that news, opinions, and stuff happening far away can feel jarring, like a weight on your mind before you've had coffee. By waiting, we're not ignoring life, we're just choosing to face it when we feel stronger. Think about it this way, it's not hiding, but engaging differently. When we wait a few hours before diving into the noise, we're letting our own morning stuff take priority. It's like telling yourself that your home and your thoughts deserve some attention first. It's never a one size fits all, but many find that this peaceful time really changes their whole day. It lets you ease into everything at your own speed. Whether you want to keep things quiet or go back to the early news, it doesn't matter so much. Just keep this shift in mind. You might be standing there, ready to turn on the radio, and realize you'd rather hear the birds or the fridge humming just a little longer. It's just a reminder that you get to decide when the world gets your attention. Maybe you'll notice it next time your place feels calm. Or maybe you'll just turn on the news anyway. It's just there, a little choice you get to make each day. Okay, so first off, how quiet the morning is these days, right? It's like the world outside just fades away, and folks are starting to really notice what's right in front of them. Maybe you're grabbing a book, catching up on the news, or finally getting to that stack of mail. Remember how it used to be? You could flip through pages with the radio blasting, or while someone's cooking up a storm, no problem. Your brain was like a ninja, multitasking like crazy, jumping in and out of whatever you were reading without breaking a sweat. Now, getting focused feels like prepping for a marathon. You're fixing your posture, clearing the table of anything distracting, waiting for total silence just so the words can sink in. It's almost like our brains have gotten pickier about how we pay attention. And it's easy to get down about it. We write it off as a sign that we're losing it. People get annoyed when a noise interrupts them. Because we're always told to be doing a million things, you don't really bring up needing quiet to concentrate. You keep it to yourself, maybe a little frustrated that you can't just read anywhere, anytime, like you used to. But hold on, some people see this change as something good, like your focus is just getting deeper. What we think of as paying attention has changed. Maybe when we were younger. Now, the brain wants to really get into things. This need for peace and quiet isn't a bad thing. We're not willing to spread ourselves thin anymore. We're choosing to give something our full attention. It's like swapping a wide shot for a close-up, preferring a steady light over one that flickers. Think about how this changes your morning routine. Reading a letter becomes a whole thing when you give it space and silence. When you stop fighting it, you might find you understand things better. You're not just reading words, you're experiencing them. Of course, it's not always that simple, but a lot of people find this slower pace brings a kind of clarity that the old, hectic way of doing things never could. Whether you need that quiet all the time or just sometimes, it's worth noticing what's going on. Don't get hung up on whether your focus is better or worse. It's just set differently. Next time you feel the urge to quiet when you're settling down with a book, or just let it be, it's just another part of your day, a little thing to keep in mind as you go about your morning. When we notice these things, time seems to stretch out, the order of things matters more, the outside world fades away, and we pay closer attention. It feels like we're building a whole way to live our lives. A lot of people realize that what they used to call a routine has become something way more personal and comforting. You might think back to your mornings before and see just a hectic mess, a time that belonged to everyone else, your boss, your family, all the stuff you had to get done. But now, it feels like the morning is finally yours. Some people say it's like taking back what's yours. We're not just using the first part of the day to get ready for what's next. We're using it to just be. If making tea takes longer or reading the newspaper needs total quiet, it doesn't mean we're slowing down in a bad way. It could just mean we've finally gotten to a point where we can really be present in our own lives. We're letting things happen with more ease and less stress. It's not always easy to get used to this, especially when everyone around us is still rushing. But it feels really good to let yourself go at your own pace. It's worth thinking about how these changes in our morning habits aren't just about time or stuff to do, but about how we see the world. We're getting pickier about what we let in and more aware of how we move around our own space. When we give these experiences a name, when we realise that a stuck routine might really be something we need, we can start to worry less about change. We don't have to see it as a problem, and we definitely don't have to go back to the way things were. We can just admit that our mornings feel different now, and that this new way has its own purpose. Whether you feel this way every day or just sometimes, don't worry about figuring it all out right now. Maybe tomorrow morning, when you're doing your usual things, or just sitting quietly, you'll see things a little differently. Maybe you'll realise that the stretching of time isn't a bad thing, but a gift you're giving yourself. Or maybe you'll just forget about this whole thing, but you'll remember that someone else feels the same way you do. In the end, how you spend your morning is totally up to you, and you don't need anyone to tell you what to do. It's enough to just notice the change. Maybe you'll want to tell someone about these changes, or maybe you'll keep them to yourself. Just remember that the morning, in all its new slowness and order, is a time when you can go at your own speed.